tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. The double downed Daily Trudge. Would make it DDDT. I used to do what was called a DD Wow. I called it DD Wows. Dion's Daily Words of Wisdom. Not egotistical at all. Yeah, DD Wows. Dion's Daily Words of Wisdom. All right. 8 days left of school. Woo! Woo! Then you get them full time. Yeah, school's coming to an end. Yeah, Gary, when do they get out? Next week? Is next week their last week? I guess I should kind of know that right now. All right. Kira and I were actually just talking, and but welcome, Michelle, Amber, Kira, good to have you all. So we were talking, but I'm like, well, I'm gonna go live, but I have to figure out a topic. And so I said, what's one question about AA that you're curious about? She's like, well, how the heck do I get started in all this? That's right, first. All right. Got 2 more weeks. I'm sure the kids are excited. One other thing will happen. We will have more bombers and trolls in Zoom meetings, just so you know. It will increase. Just a heads up. Oh, you guys will find this funny. We have this, dude, enough, okay? Seriously. But, we have this thing, it's just a bathroom spray, right? And I used it, well, I don't want to say this morning because I wasn't up this morning. Well, I kind of was. But, so I ended up using it, and it smelled just like Fireball. We were laughing about that. She's like, I tried it once too. Yeah. And, yeah, it smelled like Fireball. And it reminds me of that meme where she's like, yeah, Becky, we call that cinnamon. Normal people call that cinnamon. Right. All right. Let's get started. Welcome, Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. I'm your host. Always have been, probably will be. Probably a good day to bring this up. If anybody ever wants to join me, just let me know. I'll send you the link. I have people that like Leisure comes on every now and again. Daryl was coming on for a little bit. He's here every now and again. But I always like to offer to people that if they want to come on, talk with me, you're allowed to share your experience here. But maybe you just want to join in. The other day, Leisure joined in just because I was kind of in a bad mood. But if you're here, please say hello, whether watching live or the rewatch. I have a lot of rewatchers. Of course, you don't need to say anything if you don't want to. Here, you get to recover however you choose to recover. All I'm doing here is trying to give you the information that you need to make an informed decision for yourself. That's what this is about. Which is also a line I used in sales 4 years. And it worked very well. You can even steal it if you want. My job here is just to give, so please feel to ask me any questions. There's no such thing as a stupid questions, just silly answers. These are things I say in AA all the time, but it's actually a sales technique that I use. But it was true. It was my job. I'm the expert here, so let me give you what other questions do you have about it? All right. Let's see. I was also smart, and the questions that I would get a lot, which is what we call rebuttal in sales, I would just put it in my pitch. Why did I do that? Because it builds trust. All right. So I have my own stuff on this topic, but we're going to do an AI overview and see what we get. What does one need to do when they first join AA? Oh, they gave me an overview. All right. See what it says here. And then, of course, I will expand on this. I will fill in the blanks. Looks like they did a pretty good job here. Good job, AI. All right. What I'm tired of is AI being used for people speaking now. Like there's been ones with Robin Williams going around. Doesn't even fucking sound like him. They did such a poor job. But, if the man didn't actually say it, I would call that, fake. If Robin Williams didn't actually say it, but you're using an AI to impersonate his voice, well, better. I'm going to tell you, you best respect the dead, man. You better respect the dead. All right. To begin your journey in Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step is simply to show up at an AA meeting and introduce yourself. Stating your first name and that you're an alcoholic. There are no formal requirements or membership fees, only a desire to stop drinking. So I'm glad that they're bringing this up. So the only requirement for membership is if you say you're a member. You're going to have to call yourself an alcoholic. Yeah. But just like I was talking with Kira about this, when it comes to alcoholism and other addictions, self-diagnosis is the only true diagnosis. Because until you admit it, you're not going to do anything about it. You won't do anything about it, right? So there's nothing formal about it. Essentially, you go to a meeting. There's usually two types of questions they ask. They ask, is anybody here for their first, second, or third meeting since their last drink? And the other one is there anybody here within their first 29 days? Now, I'm going to give it a little bit of an opinion on that. Okay. It sucks having to raise your hand over and 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 over. See, it's getting annoying just me saying that, huh? See? So when you have somebody that's like trying to get sober and they're having to raise their hand for months on end because they keep having these slips, it does something to the psyche. Okay? Personally, first, second, or third meeting. First, second, or third meeting. I don't think we should be doing the 29 days. When you have somebody that is a chronic relapser, all it's going to do is demoralize them more. Opinion only. But I have a lot of experience in this. And my opinion's correct. Mostly. It's correct. From my view, it is. What do you folks think about that? And even if you don't agree with me, I'm not going to get all upset. Like I said, it's opinion. So let me know if you think a different way on that, because I'd love to hear it. You can attend meetings as often or as little as you like. You can choose to simply listen or share your experience. Let's talk about the two different types of AA meetings. There are open meetings, which are open to anybody. Okay. A lot of nurses, doctors, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, they're required to go to a couple AA meetings before they get their their licensure. They're required to. Especially nurses. You'll see nurses and stuff in there all the time. But they can only attend open meetings. They cannot attend what would be called a closed meeting. Okay, an open meeting is for everybody, but that doesn't mean the discussion is about anything. Only alcoholics are allowed to speak, and they cannot donate. They cannot put money in the basket. What I do, see, I usually put $1 in the basket when I'm an in-person, but when my wife's with me, I put $2 in. One's for her, one's for me. So I kind of work around it. Just a little bit of education as far as Alcoholics Anonymous goes. Let's say you died and you left your will, your last will and testament to AA. They will decline it. We don't take big ones. Why? Number one, you're dead. You're not an AA member anymore. Only AA members can put in the basket. Number two, Alcoholics Anonymous is broke, and we are broke on purpose. We will always be broke, but we pay our own way. Okay. So find a meeting, locate an AA meeting that is convenient for you. You can find meeting schedules on the AA website or through local groups. There's a lot of different ways you can find AA. All right. So, but let's test something here. AA groups near me. I want to see what we get. Yay, AA org does come up and it's sponsored. That's weird. Find recovery. And then we get into sober.com. Yeah, watch out for, so yeah, it is working. So you can find AA a couple of ways. You can either say, look for an AA meeting near me. Central office will usually have a list on their website of meetings. Another good place, it's all right, but it's a good app. Everything AA is a good app. It can, maybe you need a meeting right now. Well, heck, you can jump on there, go to a meeting right now. There are some meetings that run 24 hours a day. You might even end up in a different country. You might. But you most likely won't be going to a meeting in your area. But still, once you become a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, you automatically got 2 million friends. Doesn't matter where we live. We still carry what we call the language of the heart. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways that you can find AA meetings. Check out different types of meetings. Okay. Unless you go to grassroots, and then you're probably just going to want to stay. I'm just kidding. That's a very good meeting for me. But it's not going to fit everybody, and that's okay too. That's why we have different types of meetings. And every meeting is different in a way. Maybe their format's different, right? So don't assume. You got to listen to what they're saying, or because in a lot of groups, they want you to raise your virtual hand. Some, they just let you jump in. Right? So, show up. Show up. You got to show up. All right? Nobody's going to walk around and twist your arm to go to a meeting. Maybe your sponsor. Right? I remember once my mom had just gotten sober, and she was having a tough day. She was being my old mom. And I had been going to meetings with her. I've been attending Alateen. So I knew. Well, it was about 5 o'clock. And I said, Mom, you need to go to a meeting. There's one at 5:30 down at South Suburban. And I don't think she really wanted to go. So I literally picked her up, walked her to the car, and I'm like, you're going to a fucking meeting. And she let me know that I may have saved her life that day. Right? Even back then, I knew the importance of going to those meetings. See, those meetings brought my mom back, the mom that I loved. And I wasn't willing, I was willing to take the bullshit on for her. It's kind of weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So show up, attend meetings, and you'll be considered a member. That's it. Now you're a member of Alcoholics Anonymous because you said so. But it's more important than that. It is showing your face. In Grassroots, we encourage people that when you are speaking to turn on your camera. And so far, there's been no problem with it. I don't mind if you have your camera off, but when we're speaking, and that was brought up in our group conscious. But the question there was, are we doing that because we want to, because because we want power or control, or do we want it to help people be accountable? And it was the second one. We wanted it to encourage people that, because when let's say you're new, and you're still shaking and everything, you go to an in-person meeting, you don't get to hide behind anything. It's a part of being accountable and understanding that, yeah, you may not look your best right now, but we're going to help you and love you anyway. That's not a condition for us. It's not. I do not care how you look, but I do know that accountability keeps more alcoholics sober than anything else. I know that. Introduce yourself. When you speak at the meeting, you'll be asked to introduce yourself by stating your first name and saying you're an alcoholic. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes we go around the room and introduce ourselves. And Grassroots, we don't do that. Maybe we should. Right? Because that's a closed meeting. Oh, I didn't cover closed meetings. Closed meetings are for alcoholics only. Period. That's it. All right. Sometime, but what you can do, let's say you're at a closed meeting, but somebody comes in and maybe they're not an alcoholic, but we can help them. You can take a quick vote right then and there and say, should we turn this into an open meeting so this person can attend? You can do that. Absolutely, you can. All right. So when you introduce yourself, remember the first time you said, I'm so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic? Man, it was almost like regurgitating it. Huh? It's hard because you're telling on yourself. It's the first time that you tell on yourself. Amber says they are for people who have a desire to stop drinking. Yes, that's what they are for. Yeah. And that could even be the sober curious. Maybe they're not an alcoholic. Maybe they got a DUI. They're supposed to, but if they have a desire, alcoholic or not, but you're going to have to say you're an alcoholic or people are going to go, right? So there might be a few places where you introduce yourself. Number one is that first, second, or third meeting, first 29 days. Or maybe they go around the room. Maybe they say, hey, would you like to speak? More than anything, if you go to a meeting, even if you're not going to share, and I appreciate people that do this, where they raise their hand even in the virtual meetings. They're like, I'm Dion, I'm an alcoholic. I just wanted to thank everybody for being here, introduce myself and claim my seat. That is a legitimate share in Alcoholics Anonymous. It is. And nobody's going to give you a hard time for it. Because we know how fucking hard that is just to do that. All right. Listen and observe. There's saying in AA, we don't really use it too much because people are a little bit more sensitive nowadays. It's called take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. Yeah. See, all my best thoughts got me to AA. And as an alcoholic, there's one thing that I have just like everybody else. I always put the cart before the horse. Right? The big one is this. You'll go to a meeting. Well, they always talk about God. They're always, and then you find out that they're only using the word God as something, as a way for you to understand what they're talking about. That you get to choose your own higher power. We are a spiritual program, not a religious program. And the old saying is the difference between religion and spirituality are religious people are trying to stay out of hell. Spiritual people are trying to get closer to God. Right? Now, it's a decent example, but I don't quite think of it that way anymore. I know a lot of religious people that don't think that way. So we got to stop. We got to watch with those hard, fast rules. That's not always true. And I'm not going to sit here and cut religious people down so I can be right. But that at least tells you, what kind of program that we are, right? So the other saying that we have is take what you need and leave the rest. That means that there's going to be people, sometimes people just irritate you. Well, listen the best that you can. And if they say something that you need, steal it. You don't need to go tell them or anything. People steal my shit all the time. I stole shit from other people. It's how we pay. AA is the ultimate pay it forward. So we tend to talk alike. We tend to use the same phrases together. Well, God is one of those phrases that we use so that you understand what I'm talking about, not who I am talking about. Right? And usually people that have that preconceived notion are pretty relieved when they come in and be like, oh, I get to choose my own higher power. You mean you're actually giving me a choice? There's so much to it. See, when we're told what to do, we ain't going to go for it. But when we get to make the choice, there's power in choice. There's a lot of power in choice because it changes your intentions. Pay attention to the sharing and discussion during the meeting. Yeah. Be as open-minded as you can. I was just kind of talking to Kier about this before this, and, I try and let new people know this. In the beginning, you're going to be wrong about everything that comes out of your mouth. You're going to be wrong. But it's okay because we're going to be wrong, but then we're going to find out what's right. And isn't that what matters? Aren't we just trying to figure out what's right? Well, if you're wrong and then you find out the right thing because you were wrong, then you were right. So there you go. Right? Maybe we just need a little different view of it. Somebody's experience from Alcoholics Anonymous saying, hey, I understood that. I went through that too, but I found out that I was wrong because of this. See, it's much easier for me to let you know that you're wrong because I was too. And that's what I use, right? It's another sales technique. It's called feel, felt, found. It's actually a counseling technique that I use for sales, right? I know how you feel. Yeah, I felt that way too, but I found. Feel, felt, found is a great way to talk with somebody who might be a little off. Just instead of saying, no, you're wrong. No, that's not. No. Oh, you're wrong. No, don't do that shit. I used to think that way too. I understand where you're coming from on that. And then my sponsor told me this, and I was like, oh, shit. See? Feel, felt, found. All right. Consider getting a sponsor. I'm going to take a few words out of that. Get a sponsor. I want you to consider it. This is a non-negotiable. I know we suggest things, so I highly suggest this non-negotiable. Now, everybody needs a sponsor. I don't care who you are. I tell you something. I knew more about alcoholism than this last sponsor that I had, but that doesn't mean I knew how to apply it. So he did know more than I did. Maybe he didn't know more, but at least he was able to get me to a place where I could start utilizing those things. I needed a sponsor. I needed a closed mouth friend. I needed somebody that understood where I was coming from. That's the real thing of it, right? Find a member who has been sober for a while and can help guide you through the program. Okay? First thing I would suggest, not really a requirement, that they have finished the steps themselves. That would be one of the first things, right? I don't, it works both ways. So I'm not going to get into what I usually do with, who's willing to sponsor, who here needs. I'm not going to get into that part here, right? Find a member who has been sober for a while and can help guide you through the program, right? And they are a guide. Sponsors don't tell people what to do. We don't get to do that. That's not how that works. And I'm not going to get into what a sponsor does and what a sponsor doesn't do in this one. That'd be different. Find somebody that you connect with. The one thing that I would say on it is listen to your intuition on it, not your brain. What does your tummy say? Because your tummy's probably more right than your brain. Because your intuition is based off other things, so I would listen to your intuition, and you'll know, because you'll get excited. Your stomach will get a little excited. Just like I'm 54, when I lie, my tummy hurts. It doesn't change. Right? Read the big book. Read the big book. You can read it. You can read it by yourself. There's a couple of ways to do that. You can either read the first 164 pages. Okay. Now, you're supposed to go through the first 164 pages with your sponsor too. Okay. Now, you can read it, but don't make any assumptions. Don't think that because you read the first 164 pages that you now understand it, because I can tell you, you don't. That's why we need a guide, so that they can take out these particulars in there and kind of show them to you. Right? You need a different conception, a different experience in your own, because all my best thoughts got me drunk. They got me to AA. So having a guide, you can have more than one. You can have more than one sponsor. Okay. But a lot of us, especially here, we tend to go with closed mouth friend. I have a bunch of closed mouth friends. Yes, I do. Not all of them are in AA. Not all of them are recovered alcoholics either. Okay? They're just people that, do what I do. Familiarize yourself with the AA Big Book, which provides information on the 12 steps and recovery principles. All right. So the main purpose of the Big Book is this: to enable the reader to find their own higher power by which we can live a joyful life. That is the main purpose of the whole book. Yep. Stay involved. Service work. And you can do service work from the beginning. What are some service things that somebody with less than a week can do? They can read out of the Big Book. They can read the daily reflections. They can be a greeter. A lot of things. You can pour the coffee. You make the coffee. You're capable of these things. Maybe go talk to the person with one day. Yeah, you can do those things. Service work is a big part of what we do. A big part. Once you hit 30 days, service work, it really opens up at that point. Then you can start chairing. At least you can chair the grassroots. Some require a little bit more time. I wouldn't have been ready at 30 days, but there's a lot of other people that are. Not everybody was, jaundice and had 6 months to live and all these other things, Stay involved, attend meetings regularly, and engage in the AA fellowship. There are 2 times to go to a meeting: when you want to and when you don't want to. Those are the 2 times that we go to meetings. That means all the time. The suggestion is to attend meetings like you used to drink. And if you drank every day, well, there you go. Well, I was a binge drinker. Yeah, but it was on your mind every day. You were wanting it every day. See? Because this program literally is one day at a time. We live one day at a time. There's a lot of fruits, there's a lot of benefits to living in the now, like happiness. Happiness can only happen in the moment. It can only happen at that time. Otherwise, it's just a memory, right? Practice the 12 steps. And if we're missing anything here, does anybody have any other suggestions? Like, well, Amber's probably, yeah, it's 4:11. Amber's kind of busy. Usually, if you want, you can go to Amber and I did, and it's actually from Amber's sponsorship family. It's 5 simple suggestions to stay sober. And they're really good. So if you want the link to that, just reach out to me. I will send it to you. A lot of times I put it in the grassroots meeting because we have newcomers, and it's a great listen. It's really good. So practice the 12 steps. AA 12 steps provide framework for recovery, including admitting powerlessness, taking moral inventory, and praying. It's close enough. All right. So these are the things in the beginning where you can get started on the AA program. And you're going to find that things are going to change for you probably quicker than you anticipate too. Okay. But I would recommend, number one, being patient with yourself, maybe being a little bit kinder to yourself. And remember that you're trying something new. You're trying something that most of the people in this world are unwilling to even look at. And I am not talking about alcoholism. I am talking about our defects, the anger, the different stuff that non-alcoholics go through. Well, look at us. Look what we got. We were, I know that alcoholism sucked, but look at who you are today. If you weren't an alcoholic, you wouldn't be who you are today. And today you're awesome. I wouldn't take anything back in my past. Do I regret a few things? Sure I do. But I take that regret and I put it to use. The one regret I still have is not being there for my kids. But I can either sit around and regret that, or I can be for them now. So I take that regret and I turn it into the now. And AA taught me that. Gave me that. Not just taught it to me. But we alcoholics get more gifts than any other type of people I really know. We do. Alcohol is the number one killer, man. Number one killer. Kira and I just looked it up. 488 people a day. That doesn't include things like car crashes. See? You're just not. An alcoholic death doesn't mean that the alcoholic dies. It could be that they hit somebody and killed them. That's an alcoholic death. It happened because of the alcohol. See, that stuff isn't added in. Right. So we're a chosen people. AA is a supportive community where members share their experience, strength, and hope with each other to help others to recover from alcoholism. Primary purpose of AA is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Or heart disease. Yes, it causes heart disease, liver disease, lung disease, wet brain. It eats away your bones, your teeth, digestive. A lot of stuff. It does. Now, thankfully, a lot of that stuff is repairable. Right? Like when I got sober, if I would have kept drinking, I would have needed a liver transplant. My liver's fine now. All my levels are good. The kidneys are good. You know, the only thing that doesn't repair itself is the brain. There are some things that I don't remember. I try to. It's like just out of reach. It's a little frustrating sometimes. So, all right. So those are a few things to know about AA as you're getting started. Another thing that just kind of crossed my mind: we don't shoot our wounded. If you have a slip and you come back, nobody in AA is going to give you shit about that because we understand what it means. If anything, we're just going to circle you more. We're going to hand you more phone numbers. We're going to give you more love. Michelle says nerve damage from falls. Yeah, there's a lot of them, huh? So when we're not honest to doctors about our alcoholism, they can't really solve the problem, can they? All right. Yeah. Well, meditate. Okay. What we're talking about there, Christine was actually on for that. Kira said they say meditation can actually repair nerve cells in the brain. It doesn't get repaired. What happens is you create a new synapse. You grow a new synapse when you challenge yourself and do new things. So you're not necessarily repairing, you're creating another neural pathway. But that one that's destroyed is destroyed forever. But you can create a new one, a healthier one. So that's what meditation does for that. So you are correct. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. 5 o'clock's in 45 minutes. Hope to see a lot of you there. If not, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And